Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about what to do when we're facing hardships and difficulties. Because whether we like it or not, those things are part of life and we do face those kind of things pretty often, or at least every once in a while. And I want to start this by going to 1 Peter 5:8-9. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings. And from this, I think we can take three things. And the first is that the devil is our enemy. It says in another part of the Bible that we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in the spiritual realm. And that's we can agree on that because it says that in the Bible, but sometimes it feels very much like we're fighting people, like people are our enemies, or circumstances are our enemies, or even like we ourselves have messed it up for ourselves. But I think it's important to keep in mind that the devil is actually our enemy, and he walks around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. He is actively seeking for ways to destroy our lives. And I think it's pretty good to be aware of that. We should not focus on it. We should focus on Jesus. But when we meet hardship, when we face hardships, then we should know that the source of them is the devil. And especially when it's things that we don't really understand. Because the thing is, we shouldn't overemphasize this either and be like, yeah, everything is the devil's fault. If I got a cold when I walked out in the rain without the jacket, it's the devil's fault. The sickness is still from the devil, but we do have a responsibility in it. However, I think especially in circumstances when we don't really understand, we just find ourselves in this mess and we're like, how did I end up here? And we maybe spend a lot of time trying to understand, like, how did I end up here? What happened? What did I do wrong? Like in those situations especially, I think it can be really important and really good to remember that the devil is our enemy. He is trying to destroy our lives, and sometimes we don't know the explanation to why things got messed up the way they were, but other than that, the devil just wants to destroy our lives. And I think that can also be a good help, actually. Number 2 is resist him and stand firm. Sometimes like we can do like spiritual warfare, like we can be like walk around and like pray really strong prayers and such things, and we should do that sometimes, but sometimes we don't have enough energy to do that, and that's okay, because it's not about us anyway, it's about God. And sometimes maybe all we can do is just be like, okay, I'm gonna stand firm, and I'm just gonna let you deal with this, Lord. And this happened for me a few days ago. I was feeling very tempted in an area where I have I have overcome this area, like my struggles in this area, a long time ago, several years ago, and I haven't really struggled with it since then. But then I felt, all of a sudden, I felt tempted, and I was like, what is this? And I started to be like, where is this coming from? Maybe there's something wrong. But then I was like, no, actually, I'm not even gonna give this like my attention, because I know that I have victory over this, and I know that God is with me and He will help me to not fall for this temptation. And when I did that, I just turned to God with that, and I didn't really do anything except just turning to God and being like, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but I'm not falling for this temptation. Then actually what happened was that, like, later that day, I experienced how, like, God gave me revelation on some things some questions that I've had for a long time, and then it just became clear to me that it's this spiritual war that we're in. Like, it's the devil who is trying to uh, destroy our lives, and it was I'm sure it was the devil who knew that God was gonna give me this breakthrough, and so he tried to stop me with this old thing that I haven't struggled with for years. And when I just stood firm and I just turned to God, then God turned this into a victorious day instead of a day when I would like have fallen for temptation. The third thing is that you are not alone. We are not alone. And in these verses, I think it's so great that it says, like, stand firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of sufferings. I mean, this might seem a little bit strange, like, wow, like, how is that helping that other people are also suffering? But I mean, of course, it's not a good thing that other people are also suffering, in that, like, we don't want anyone else to suffer, of course, and we don't want to suffer ourselves. But I think the point in this is that, like, it can be really easy to think that we are all alone, and like there's something wrong with us, and like, I'm the only one struggling with this. There's something wrong with me. I'm so strange. I'm so weird. Like, it's easy to think those kind of thoughts when we are struggling with things. But if we know that other people also struggle with those kind of things, and maybe also that if we can hear testimonies of how other people have overcome some struggles, then that can really be encouraging. We can know then that we are not alone, and that there is nothing wrong with us, and there is nothing like weird about us, but that everyone struggles with things in this world. And I think that's really great, and to just know that, because sometimes, and also, like, if you have a friend who is struggling, sometimes you can't really do very much about what they're struggling with. You can be there for them, you can listen to them, you can love them, you can hug them, maybe, or maybe not now in these times, but you can just be there for them. But to share that maybe you have also struggled with the same thing, to share that with them can be very valuable, I think, because then they can know that they are not alone, and that it's not that they are so strange or something, because those thoughts are very common when we face difficulties and struggles. So these are my 3 points today about how to deal with difficulties and struggles and hardships. If you want to, you can like this video, you can share it, or you can comment something, you can subscribe to the channel, or watch some other videos. But remember, you are loved, you are beautiful, you are valuable. Jesus loves you no matter what. And have a blessed week, and see you next week. Bye.